This is Animal Company, a funny little monkey game where you explore mildly scary maps, collect loot, and use gadgets to maneuver your way around or defeat enemies. And with that said, it's a very basic game, and it's a little bit scary. You can also interact with the community, play with your friends, and also you can also engage in PvP and just kill random people in the game. But with this game's popularity, many people don't seem to notice that this game actually has a ton of lore behind it. Well, not a shit ton, but it still has a little bit. But that's what I'm going to be doing for this video. I'm going to be explaining to you guys what I think personally is the lore of this game. I'll be feeding it to you, feeding the lore to you like a baby with a big lore spoon.
Oh my god, bro.
I'm sorry. Now, obviously, before I start, take everything I say in this video with a grain of salt. I'm not 100% sure that this is the lore of Animal Company. This is just what I think based off of observing some things in the game. Anyways, let's, okay, here's the video. I am a gorilla. So, welcome to the lore video. I'm a gorilla now, because I'm not going to be animating the BNG for that long. That's going to take forever. I usually use like a little PNG guy, as you can see right here. But, I'm not using him right now. That's going to take way too long for me to edit, and it's going to come out, like, next year. I just want to mention that I don't actually have a script at all for this. I'm just pulling everything out of my ass. You know, here, look at the script. This is the script.
Oh my god,
yeah,
bro.
what do you see? Nothing! I don't have a script. Chapter 1. The Company. So firstly, into the lore video, I'm not going to be talking about many of the main gameplay mechanics at all yet, or any of the other things. I'm just going to be explaining to you guys the companies. It's called Animal Company for a reason. You work for a company, but what is that company? I'll be explaining that. Now, there isn't actually just one company. There's multiple companies that do different things around the map of Animal Company, and I'll show you all of them here. If you go to the bottom of Mansion, you can find this strange clipboard with these three symbols here. And these are the three different companies that you can find in this game. L3 Energy, Nutc, and Canopy Group. I'm probably pointing to them right here in editing, I don't know. Now, there is actually one more company that isn't included on here, and that's because this board is technically very outdated. So I just want to mention that this is outdated. I know I literally just got into talking with my little gorilla man, but here I'm going to cut to a clip that actually explains what these companies do. Hi guys, what is up? This is for the lore video. I don't know why I'm so laggy right now, but this is for the lore video. I'm going to be telling you all of the companies and what they do. So first off, I want to talk about Nutc. You know, the one I talked about earlier. Nut Horizon. You see this place? Advanced Technology Research Lab. Nut Horizon. This is obviously affiliated with Nutc. It's obviously affiliated with Nutc just because of the name, Nut Horizon. It also has the logo of Nutc. So my theory is that Nutc basically manufactures all of the things that you can buy from this machine here. They make these tablets, they make these little cameras, they make all of them. They make these rockets. All of that stuff Nutc makes. And to further prove this theory, the exact machine where you buy everything, every item that you may need to go on your expeditions, has the nut symbol on it. Also, the same currency that you use to buy things has the nut symbol, which leads me to very much believe that Nutc manufactures and creates all of the things that you can see inside of here. Like this stuff. You know, like the teleport grenade. I think you get the point. The next one, a much more mysterious one, is Tomorrow. Now, Tomorrow doesn't have any obvious signing to it. We can't actually see Tomorrow's logo anywhere. But that's the thing, we used to be able to see Tomorrow's logo. Right here, the stash. Right here, there used to be a logo called Tomorrow, with a little space symbol. Oh, but for some reason they removed it, and this is a really big reach, but here's what I think Tomorrow actually does as a company. First of all, since Tomorrow was plastered on this big machine here, I'm starting to think that Tomorrow manufactures all of the machines you see here in Spawn. They manufacture the stash. They make the Nut Horizon. Now, obviously you may think Nut Corp made the Nut Horizon, but no. I think the Tomorrow company makes all of these technology things. All of these VR headsets and all of these little technical interfaces. Tomorrow makes all of these. And to even further prove this, put the image up again. Tomorrow has a sort of spacey theme to its logo. And I want you to quickly just analyze the whole thing. Recognize the font and the little symbol there that emits a black hole. It's a black hole, a spacey object. Which leads me to believe, hey, Tomorrow makes all of these things that you see here. All of the interfaces, let's say. All of the machines that you see over here. You know, they made this mirror. And this looks like the font of Tomorrow's logo. The same font. So they probably made friend.net. And to even further prove it, you know how I mentioned that Tomorrow has a spacey theme to its logo? Well, the computer is called Mercury Operating System. Mercury. You know, the object in space. Wait, space themes. Where can you find space themes in this game? To quickly elaborate on what the planetarium is, it's a little part you can find in the mines area of this game, and it has like these holographic planets everywhere. So the planetarium, which that makes me believe they probably made the planetarium. The planetarium looks a lot like a hologram. The whole thing looks like a hologram. And holograms are associated with technology. By technology, I mean these things, the interfaces. I think Tomorrow manufactures and creates all of these devices here, including the planetarium, because it's a hologram. Now, next up is even more unknown, a company called L3 Energy. I think that's what it's called. I'll have to put it up on the screen. L3 Energy can be seen over in the haunted house area. The haunted house, on the big key door that you need to enter the heart, you can find L3 Energy's little icon logo thing. Now, how does that have to do with anything? Well, I think L3 Energy is the company that creates all of these maps that you see. Now, what do you mean? Well, L3 Energy's logo is on a door, but not any door, the key door. And the key door isn't any normal door, it's just a big wall with a key in it. There is no practical use for a door with no handle and just a big key slot. Which leads me to believe that L3 Energy creates all of these maps, but they're all fake. Okay, so I should probably explain just a little bit more what I meant by that, because didn't explain at all what I meant by that. And like I said before, take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is a big stretch. But I think because L3 Energy is on this big, useless door, I think that the doors, as you can see, the big useless door with a big keyhole in it, and the big, heavy keys, I think they're fake. I think they're designed to be big and heavy and useless. Which leads me to progress that maybe everything in this game is fake. And if everything in this game is fake, then L3 Energy must be making it, because their name is plastered on the big key door that is presumably meant to just be fake. What I mean by fake is it doesn't have an actual use. What I mean when I say the door is fake is it doesn't have a use. Nobody is gonna use a big hunky door that's basically just a wall with a hole in it. Nobody's gonna use these big hunky keys that are really heavy and float in the air for some reason. That has no practical use. It would be more practical if it was like a smaller key or like an actual door, but not a giant key door. And so like they're basically designed to not be fake, but be more exaggerated. And that's what L3 Energy is told to do. To create fake maps for the animals to explore and train in. You know, the sewers, it doesn't really seem like a functional sewer. There's a lot of things that just don't make sense with it. How half of the pipes in there are completely broken open and don't have any water in them. How there's just an open expanse for no reason. That's not how sewers work. In the mines is super old-fashioned. This is the type of mine you would see in, like, 1983 or something along those lines, when people were still coal mining. And when they didn't know the danger of that. And obviously, this is a modern setting with all of this tech here. So why would there be an old-fashioned mine in a modern setting? This place literally has VR, for God's sake. Which leads me to believe that L3 Energy creates fake maps for the animals to explore in. Now, that's a super big reach because we know nothing about L3 Energy. It might not even be a company, but that's just a little theory of mine. Now, the last one, Canopy Group, Lab Canopy Group. I think Lab Canopy Group is the big ringleader of all of the other branch companies, all of the other smaller companies. Lab Canopy Group seems to be the most expansive group out of all of these. Now, first of all, how do I know this? Lab Canopy Group is plastered everywhere in this game. It's right here, in the place where you can buy all of your different, like, clothes and animals. It's in some of the items, too. See that? Lab Canopy Group. Which leads me to believe that Lab Canopy Group is the basically ringmaster of all of these, like, different groups. They own all of these groups and tell them what to do. That's why it's plastered everywhere. And also group of companies. This is a group. None of the other companies that you see throughout this game have group on them except for Lab Canopy Group. Now, what does Lab Canopy Group do? Obviously, aside from all of the management work they do, managing all of the other companies that work for them, I think Lab Canopy Group does not only one other thing that I'm going to say later in the video, but this. You see these mutants here? All of these mutants, these strange mutant creatures that I talked about earlier? All of the monsters out there? Well, strangely, the same lab that has test tubes and strange mutant creatures, has the name Lab Canopy Group right by it. Which leads me to believe that I think Lab Canopy Group is the one doing the experiments on these creatures. I think they're the one doing the experiments on poor dogs, and frogs, and pugs, and tigers, and skeletons. Lab Canopy Group's name is on the same device where you can buy mutants. So that's what makes me think that Lab Canopy Group is the one experimenting on all of these different creatures that you see around the game. Now that you know all of that about all of the different companies of this game, and that it's not just one singular company, now we can move on to Mutants. Now, Bluebanana, what do you mean? What an epic title card right here. Well, the game of Animal Company is filled with strange experiments. Strange, demented, horrible experiments. And I'm here to talk to you about them. Every single creature that you see in this game, other than a select few, are all failed experiments. Well, technically that's not true because the player does exist, but I'll talk about that later. All of the monsters in the game are failed experiments of sorts, placed in there just so they could get rid of the failed experiments. For some reason, Canopy Group, which is the one experimenting on all of these different animals, is experimenting on these creatures. Now, I'm not exactly sure why yet. That's one of the things that's unexplained with this. We don't know at all why innocent animals and humans, actually, told, as you can see with the ogre from the game, are being experimented on. I have no idea why. There's no explanation for that in the game yet. Well, past me, I'm gonna need you to shut up because I think I've actually found an explanation. I think all of the experiments are past failures in an attempt to create a perfect mutant. Something that could do the job. And when they made the animals, which are the players in the game, they did that job. All the other creatures that you see in the game are either experiments or creatures made to kill us mutants. So I might make an updated lore video once everything comes out and once I know more information about this. But as you can see, a lot of the animals and creatures in this game just seem like failed experiments. But when I say failed experiments, I'm not talking about the player. The players are actually not failed. They're correct experiments. Ones that are there for a reason. See, all these other animals are just placed in the maps because they're garbage. The company doesn't value them, since they're failed. But the animals, they're a whole different story. There's a reason why you're here. We are meant to be in this map. We are placed in here to be presumably trained for something. These obviously the animals are here for a reason. That's an undeniable fact that anyone can think of. We are literally equipped with bombs and all of these other items to fend off the failed experiments. So obviously we're here for a reason. I think the reason may be to train the animals for some strange reason. I don't actually know why they're being trained. Because obviously you can see throughout the maps that there's a lot of things that relate to, training. There are random obstacles scattered throughout the map. Now, that's where I lead on to my next part. Fake maps. All of the maps in the game are fake. They're all fake. I mean, except for Office. Now, Office may not be fake. I just want to mention that. Now, Bluebanana, what do you mean all the maps are fake? That's stupid. There's a whole mine for gathering resources. Well, no. I don't agree. All these maps seem very, very fake. None of them seem real at all. All of these maps are in some way artificial. They're built for these animals to train in. They're literally built for us. They're not built for maintenance things. Like, the sewers isn't built to be an actual sewer, and the mine isn't built to be an actual mine. They're there for the animals to train and jump around and get stronger. It also serves another purpose, but I'm going to talk about that in the next chapter. And you may be thinking, Bluebanana, how do you even know all these maps are fake? Well, here's how. A lot of these maps have parts that don't really make sense. Mines, for example, does not make any sense at all, because obviously in the game we are in a very modern setting. There are VR consoles. There's a whole VR world in this game that you can enter. There's holograms, as before mentioned with Planetarium. There's these strange TV displays and mirrors that are technological. Obviously, we're in a modern setting, or possibly even a futuristic setting. So, how does it make any sense at all to have an old-fashioned mine? This mine is very obviously old-fashioned. Mines don't just look like this. This is what mines used to look like when people were still coal mining in Pennsylvania. There would be elevators and all of these different types of things. And you literally see elevators in the game in the office. So why isn't there elevators here? Because these mines are to train the animals. I can say the same exact thing about the sewers. The sewers is not a real sewer. I think that's pretty obvious. To train the monkeys. To train all the other mutant animals. There's not just platforms for no reason. If this was a functional sewer, they would have fixed it by now. It's not a functional sewer. At all. It's made to train the monkeys. And, the other animals. I'm just gonna say monkeys for now, because, yeah. On to the next chapter. Next up, everything in this game you see is almost certainly fake. The entire map is made to be fake. The selling machine is made to be fake. Everything is made to be an illusion. While the monkeys are being trained, obviously if you were in a situation like this, you are trapped in this strange world where the only thing you can ever do is work. Obviously you'd be questioning things. Well, that's why everything is fake. To keep the monkeys from questioning everything. The selling machines are fake. The currency is fake. When you go out and mine, for example, and you bring back all of the stuff that you get from mining, and you put it in the machine, it doesn't go anywhere. The machine would have pipes. It would have pipes leading to somewhere. And the machine wouldn't kill you when you're inside of it. It would bring you somewhere. That's why the machine is fake. It doesn't bring anything anywhere. It doesn't sell anything. It burns the things that you get. To give you a fake sense of accomplishment. Well, not you, but the monkeys, the creatures. When you sell things in real life, it'll give you a dopamine boost. And that's what they're doing with this machine. And the other subsequent ones. They're making you gather these trash items that exist for no reason and are just scattered around the world. You put them in the machine and they burn them, and they give you money. You're not actually selling anything. That's why the player dies when they're inside of the machine while everything is being actively sold. Because it's a burner. Hey, editing Bluebanana here. I just want to mention that the selling machine in this game and, actual real-life incinerators look scarily alike, so I think this theory is true. They look really, similar to each other. Mostly everything you see in this game can be said fake. Everything in this game is to distract or train the monkeys to get stronger. Planetarium exists for no reason. There is no definite reason Planetarium exists, because it's to distract the monkeys. Unless it's for an actual purpose, which I highly doubt that, but I think you get my point. Everything in this strange little world that the monkeys live in is fake and meant to either give you dopamine, give the monkeys dopamine, or make you stronger. With everything previously said, this next part is going to be a big stretch. I don't know, this is why it's called a theory. But there's a very big question that comes with all of this other stuff in the game, and that is, how in the world are these companies actually making money? Obviously, the other companies is getting paid by the big Canopy Group company. That's why Nut Horizon is making all these things. They get paid to make them. That's why L3 Energy is making the maps. They get paid to make them. But how is Canopy Group making the money? They're supplying all these other companies with money and resources to make their items and maps and technological interfaces. But how is Canopy Group getting money? They're experimenting too, which must cost hundreds or even millions of dollars to do. So how are they making all this money to experiment and pay the other companies, which must take more than $1 million a month? I think I might know how. And it all lies in the office. In the background here, I'm just gonna move out of the way, like a lot. In the background here, you can see a very important billboard in the office. This shows a diagram of the duping machine. The duping machine is a very big machine that you can find in the office that dupes items from trash. My theory on how they're making money is that they're using this duping machine to sell merchandise. What does this mean? I'll explain. You know when you go to your local Walmart and you see all of these different items, car fuel, car oil, tires, bikes, toys, gum, paper towels, paper plates, all of these different things, phones, all of these different things are made by different companies. I think that's what Canopy Group is actually faking doing. They're making people think that they're a producer company that makes paper plates, or rockets, or fireworks, or all of these different things, when really, in secret, they're controlling mutant animals. And how do I think this? That sounds super stupid. You sound like you're a freak and an idiot. Well, it's because of the duping machine. The duping machine makes items out of more items. You're basically putting things in to make infinite money. That's why it says up here, money. The duping machine doesn't give you money at all. But the reason why it's saying money is because they're selling the things that they dupe out of this machine. So basically, they're using the duping machine to make money by selling the things that come out of it. And that's how Lab Canopy Group is making money. Lab Canopy Group is lying to the public about making animals. I mean, making these strange mutant creatures. They're lying to everyone, and they're covering up what they do by selling other items and making them seem not suspicious. Because you wouldn't be suspicious of, say, Heinz ketchup brand to be mutating animals and making them train in horrible conditions. You wouldn't expect the Walmart company, the company that owns Walmart, to be experimenting on anglerfish and making them giant and floating and killer. You wouldn't expect that from a normal selling company. That's how they're making money, and covering it up, too. Oh my god, congratulations on making it to the end of the video. I'm so proud of you. Anyways, yeah, if anything I said in this video made any sense, make sure to like and subscribe, am I right, guys? But anyways, some of the things in Animal Company I actually don't have an answer for. There are a lot of things in the game that I still don't know what to make of them. There is an area in the game that is just hell. Like, it just looks like hell. Like, that exists for some reason. OG Spawn exists in the game, like, before the revamp of the game. I don't know why that is there. There's this giant heart thing I don't know why that exists either. There's a bunch of things that I don't know why they exist, and I'll probably continue on them in maybe another lore video. So yeah, thanks for actually watching the video. You're great. You're awesome.